moment in history where a malignant narcissist and a sociopath is in the Oval Office. This is a very dangerous moment. So when they come to New York to take our Mexican neighbors out of here, who's willing to stand in front of the George Washington Bridge and say, not unless you go through me? Who's willing to do that? Peacefully and non-violently. Who will stand at the Lincoln Tunnel or the Holland Tunnel and say, no, no, this is the United States of America. No. If he tries to put up a Muslim registry where Muslim Americans, keyword Americans, are supposed to sign up, I will be the first one to sign up on the Muslim registry. Who will join me? Who will join me? Will you sign up? Who will sign their name? Let's all sign our name. We are all Muslim. We're all Mexican. We're all women. We're all Americans. Yes, and we are all gay and lesbian and bisexual and transgender, and God damn it, we are all queer too. We're gonna win, folks. A little bit of pain, a little bit of discomfort, but a lot of work on our part will stop this man. He will not last the 4 years. It's a dangerous combination, a narcissist and a public official, because it all is about what's in it for me. Me, 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 me. And when they think like that, that's when they break the law. And that's when he'll go down. I have one other idea. I have one final idea. Some reporter was just asking me, well, what's the point of all this? Because no matter how much bad news he creates or there is about him, it doesn't seem to affect him. I said, right, yes, that's right. He's not affected by the bad news when he talks about his sexually assaulting women. He's not affected by the bad news that comes out of him calling Mexicans rapists and murderers. That's right. He's not affected by that. What's he affected by? He's affected by comedy. He has the thinnest skin of any bully I've ever met. If you make fun of him, if you ridicule him, or if you just show that he's not popular. I remember the night after the election, on the 9th of November, a bunch of us just randomly got in the street and marched to Trump Tower. Anybody there that night? There weren't a lot of us, but it was a few hundred people. And he's up there in his tower, in his penthouse, tweeting, demonstrators outside my home. Unfair. Unfair. Why are they protesting me? Wrong. Wrong. I'm telling you, my friends, this is how he'll implode. It's his Achilles heel. And we don't need to just depend on the comedians to do this for us. Everybody here has a sense of humor. Use it. Use it. Participate in the ridicule and the satire for the emperor who has no clothes. Do this for me. Let's form an army of comedy, and we will bring him down. And my friends, is there anyone better at doing what I've just asked us all to do than our general, the general of the Army of Comedy, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alec Baldwin?
everybody, Michael Moore! Woo! First, I want to find out the Comedy Army. Where do I sign up for the Comedy Army? And tonight, I want to we should take a moment to thank all of the people from the New York City Police Department who helped make this possible. Let's have a thank you.
I just want to say, I've been standing out here in the freezing cold for a long time. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pee. But I'm holding it in. I'm holding it in. I'm not going to pee. I'm going to a function at the Russian consulate tonight. I'm going to hold it until I get there. And then when I get to the Russian consulate, I'm going to have a really, really long pee. Like the biggest pee I've ever had in my lifetime.
I want to say three things really quickly because we've got a lot of people that want to come up and say hi and say some things. Number one, Donald Trump and Steve Bannon and Mike Pence and all these people that are part of the Trump administration, they think that you are going to lay down. Are you going to lay down? The one thing that they don't realize is that New Yorkers never lay down. You say whatever you want to about this city, and New Yorkers never lay down. Are you going to fight? Are we going to have 100 days of resistance? Fantastic. Now, number two, I want to say this idea from that the government, that the mayor's office has been talking about, other people have been talking about ID NYC. That's a great thing. And I want all of you to spread that word through social media, through your friends, anybody you know that needs that kind of help. They go to idnyc.gov. idnyc.gov. Remember that. Just like Michael Moore said, what's that number? 202-225-3121. Thank you. Thank you. It's Michael Moore's agent over here, his publicist. But spread that around. idnyc.gov. I'm listening to National Public Radio, and the guy gets arrested for a crime they don't know whether he committed or not, and immigration's waiting outside the courthouse, and they arrest him. He's in jail, detained for a year. He's here working. He's illegal. He's here working in some kitchen in Manhattan, and he's got kids at home, and he's got a wife at home, and he's been detained for a year now. Well, we've got to provide this ID NYC thing to as many people as we can. We've got to spread that around. idnyc.gov. And the last thing I want to say is about our children. My wife and I have 3 little children. And for all of you out there who have children, to a degree, I mean, I'll let you be the judge of that. They're never too young for you to start to teach them about what's going on here. They're never too young for you to teach them what a real American is. And an American wants full participation and full transparency of their government. And we've never been further away from that than we are now. These people are a disgrace. They are a disgrace to everything you and I believe in. But there is hope, and the hope is us and us fighting 100 days of resistance. 202-225-3121, idnyc.gov. You take your pick, whatever you want to do to stay involved, stay strong. God bless you all, and God bless New York City, and thank you. Now, it's time to get inspired. It's time to get inspired.
I'm going to go to the Russian consulate right now and take a piss. A really super, super strong one.
But before I do that, it's time to get inspired. I'm going to bring up one of the most inspirational New Yorkers I've ever met in my lifetime, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Let me break in the comedy hour and let me say to people watching us around the world, this is Donald Trump's hometown. But the hometown folk do not behave like Donald Trump. Look tonight at thousands upon thousands of us, of different religions, different races, different sexual orientations, different genders, that stand together saying that we may have seen you win an election, but we have not lost our minds. We come together in the town Donald Trump was born to say that we don't need to make America great. America is great when we respect each other. and stand with each other and unite with each other and defend each other's rights and stop the harassment and oppression of each other. You might have missed it, Donald, but America's already been great, and we're going to make it even greater. Tomorrow, as the mayor has said, who's leading us tonight, President Barack Obama will leave the White House. But we are going to make sure that health care doesn't leave with him, that LGBT rights doesn't leave with him, that rights of criminal justice reform doesn't leave with him, that rights of blacks and rights of Latinos and rights of immigrants and gender rights doesn't leave with him. Nobody donated us those rights. We fought for those rights, and we're going to keep those rights because we're going to keep on fighting. You want to register? You want to build walls? This is a country that does not make that happen, and we will not sit by and let it happen again. It amazes me that Mr. Trump got upset when someone said that they didn't respect him as a legitimate president after he campaigned for years calling President Obama not a legitimate American. Your politics started by trying to delegitimize the sitting president's nationality. And now you want to have a temper tantrum when people talk about voters were purged and there was, according to intelligence, influence from other nations. As you sit there tonight at the inaugural concert in Lincoln Memorial, you need to talk to President Lincoln, Mr. Trump. President Lincoln will tell you that slavery and oppression based on different races and different people is wrong. You need to talk to Lincoln while you're there tonight. And Lincoln will tell you that states' rights, whether it's on health care, on teachers, on education, is wrong. You need to talk to Mr. Lincoln tonight. There's some battles we won, and you can't reverse those battles. We're sending you a message from your hometown that you can try to turn back the clock, but you won't turn back time. We're not going backwards. Tomorrow at high noon, Donald Trump is scheduled to put his hand on a Bible and be sworn in the 45th president. Well, I hope he opens that Bible and reads the Bible. Go to the New Testament. There's a story that I'll tell you as a Baptist preacher where Jesus talked about a man who was laying by the side of the road. He'd been wounded, he'd been robbed, and he laid there in desperate conditions. A man of his race walked by, looked at him and kept walking. Another one walked by that was of religious standing. He looked at him and kept walking. But another man came by and he reached and helped him. He didn't ask him what his race was. He didn't ask him what his gender was. He didn't ask him if he was transsexual. He didn't ask him what nation he was born in. He helped him. What makes a good Samaritan, Mr. Trump, and a good American is when we lift each other up rather than beat each other down. We come to lift the nation up tonight. So we say, they are saying that there was hackers that hacked all over the country during the election. Well, I made it easy. I brought my smartphone. Hack this tonight. We're going to love, not hate. Hack this tonight. We're going to stand united, not divided. Hack this tonight. There'll be 100 days of resistance. Hack this tonight. Voter rights won't stop. LGBT rights won't stop. We will not stop. We will not go back. You can hack a message and tell the world that the election is over, but the movement has just begun.
Al Sharpton! God bless you, sir. Our next speaker is the founder of the Muslim Democratic Club of New York City. She's born and raised in Brooklyn, and she's here tonight because she's one of the main organizers of the Women's March on Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Please welcome Faiza Ali.
If the resistance looks anything like what's before me right now, I think New York City, we're going to be all right. Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. It's really an honor to be here with you all this evening. Standing before you is a 5'2.5" brown woman, inspired by my Islam to fight injustice, motivated by the legacy of civil rights heroes who showed us that radical change is possible, and driven by the values of a city that raised me to be bold, to have grit, and to be resilient. Like millions of Americans, I stayed up on election night and watched the results come in, sitting on my couch in utter disbelief and horror. For 18 months, Donald Trump used his campaign to wage a war on immigrants, blacks, the LGBTQ community, the disabled, Muslims, and women. Trump called for a ban on Muslims entering the country, surveillance and closure of mosques, and proposed a Muslim registry. This is not normal. On November 9th, Muslim kids and families across the country woke up to a president-elect who, while on the campaign trail, said, quote, "Islam hates us." This is not normal. You know, it's really unsettling. Trump campaigned for an America that had no place for me and my community. And here we are on the eve of his inauguration. Not only are Muslim Americans fearful of losing their freedoms and our basic rights, but we're fearful for our physical safety. The 2016 election was one of the worst examples of mainstreaming Islamophobia, white supremacy, and hate speech. This is not normal. You know, each hour and every minute that we're getting closer to January 20th, for me, the struggle comes into greater focus, and the role that each and every one of us have to play becomes clear. Like the speakers before me said, we have to be ready to fight. We have to stand united. We must refuse to normalize bigotry and hate, which has been the incoming administration's hallmark and rise to power. We must be ready to reject Trump's fascist agenda and resist every appointment, every policy, every single proposal that institutionalizes Islamophobia or is a threat to our values. We need to be intentional. Now, this is the organizer in me. We need to be intentional about engaging our community and building community. Organizing is about building radical relationships that are grounded in love and justice. And power rests in those relationships. So if we want to build a resistance, we have to go to the basics of organizing. I'll end with this. Sisters and brothers, we are stronger when we show up for each other. So whether it's a Muslim registry or ban, mass deportation of undocumented communities, threats to black lives or attacks on our healthcare and Planned Parenthood, we have to stand up and we have to fight back together. That's why this Saturday, day one of Trump's presidency, I'm joining hundreds and thousands of Americans to march for the Women's March on Washington. We're here to say that we are here, we are watching, and we will fight every step of the way. Thank you so much for this, New York City. We're ready to stand with you. I hope that you are also ready to stand with me and my people. Thank you.
See you at the march. Hi, Marissa Tomei. And tomorrow, you know who will take an oath as President of the United States of America. But it is our responsibility to defend our common values as Americans. So, to lead us now in taking our oath, the same oath that he is taking, are community activists Rob Nanas, Farah Bala, and Tyler Thomas.
Raise your right hands. Raise them.
Raise them, raise them, raise them!
And repeat after us. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute my role as an American and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Woo!
So share your oath and follow taketheoath.us online to take action. Our next speaker will talk about the urgent fight we must wage and win, the fight to protect health care for tens of millions of Americans. Please welcome Executive Director of District 37, Henry Garrido.
How you doing? So, you know, I'm from a union. In our union, we have a chant. And it goes a little like this. Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? People power. Say it with me. Who's got the power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? What kind of power? You know, last week, U.S. Congress took a very irresponsible step. They moved to do away with the ACA, or as is known as Obamacare, without alternative. They moved to eliminate the pre-existing conditions that is now currently under the law. They moved to do away with coverage with children and dependents up to the age of 26, to eliminate subsidies for seniors, and to reduce the cost of health care overall. You know, about 5 years ago, my own grandmother was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and she could not get the health care she needed in Virginia. She had to move to Europe to other siblings in order to get that care. And for the last years of her lives, my children could not see my grandmother for the last years because she could not afford health care in Virginia. Are we going to allow this man to take away our health care? Are we going to allow this man to take the health care of 30 million people without a plan? Are we going to allow this man to dismantle everything that we've worked for? So who's got the power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? What kind of power? Today, in this country, we spend more money than any industrialized nation for healthcare. This is a matter of life and death. We would not allow this to happen without a fight, and I pledge to you that until my dying breath, I would not allow this man to do what happened to my grandmother. So say it with me. Who's got the power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? What kind of power? Brothers and sisters, I have the proud pleasure also introducing the next speaker. I'm proud to introduce the First Lady of the City of New York, who has led a fight, a national effort to address mental health, and will constantly be fighting to ensure that no one loses their health care in this era. Please help me welcome the First Lady, Shirley McRae. Give it up for her.
Hello, citizens of America. I want to thank you all for being out here today and showing the world what democracy looks like. Now, I was in Washington, D.C. this week talking to mayors and senators about mental health reform, mayors and senators from blue states and red states, and talking to them about how much progress we're just beginning to make with mental health, with Thrive NYC. And that is all because of the parity and equity we get from the Affordable Care Act. You can clap for that. Yeah. 30 million Americans are on the verge of losing health care, vital health care, which includes our family members who suffer from mental illness and substance misuse. We're in the middle of an opioid epidemic. People, we can't let this happen. No. So I say, don't take away our ACA. 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 And you know the number to call. What is it? 202-225-21. Very good. Very good. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce a leader who embodies always NYC, siempre. She is a proud daughter of Puerto Rico, a proud supporter of working families, union families, immigrant families, all families. She's a badass feminist. And she is the first Latina speaker of our New York City Council. Welcome, Melissa Mark DeNiro.
Thank you so much, Charlene. Buenas noches, Nueva York! I stand here as a proud member of the resistance. Are you with me? We're standing here today in Donald Trump's backyard to send one clear and loud message to the incoming administration. We will stand unidos, united, against your agenda of fear and hate. Just look around you. New York, we represent the very best of our country. We exemplify that diversity is what makes this nation great, not weak. We embody the principles of equality and inclusivity because that is who we are. And that's exactly why we will do everything in our power to defend this city and its ideals. You have my word. We're going to stand up and fight back. Are you with me? From protecting women's reproductive rights to building more trust between our communities and the police, to ensuring immigrants continue to call New York City home, we will not stay silent. Are we going to stand up and fight back? So let me be clear, because I want Washington, D.C. to hear me. We will not allow our immigrant communities to return into the shadows, because just today we saw a glimpse of what this administration is planning to do. Trillions in budget cuts, dismantling the ACA, and building a wall. We're going to build a wall, and that's the wall of resistance. No permitiremos que los inmigrantes en esta ciudad vivan en las sombras. Estamos unidos, pa'lante, siempre pa'lante.
Hi. In 1951, my mother immigrated to this country from Scotland. I am first generation. Unless you are Native American, your family is also from somewhere else. We are a nation of immigrants. Every generational wave of new immigrants has faced discrimination. Tonight, we stand united with all immigrants. It is my honor to introduce a longtime resident of New York who came to the U.S. from Mexico when he was 7 years old and has been a fierce advocate for programs that President-elect is threatening to take away. He is a member of Make the Road New York that builds the power of Latino and working class communities to achieve dignity and justice through organizing, policy innovation, transformative education, and survival services. Please welcome Martin Batalla.
How are we doing tonight? Woo! All right, good evening. How you doing? It's cool, right? All right, my name is Martin Batalla. I'm a member leader of Make the Road New York. I'm also a proud member of the LGBT community. Woo! I came to the US at the age of 7, and since then I was undocumented. Living in this country has not been easy for me. In high school, it was really challenging. Around graduation, I had no social security, which meant I couldn't work. I couldn't have an education. I was not able to get financial aid or apply for scholarships. I was really doubtful about my future when I first heard about DACA. DACA is the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. At first, I was doubtful. What can DACA do for me? Like, it's the first thing that something ever happened like this. I was confused, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. I decided to apply, and honestly, from my point, it changed my life. DACA helped me get opportunities that's undocumented were not available to me. I have a higher paid job. I'm currently able to help my parents. I'm also independent, and I live on my own. Right now, I'm studying to be a registered nurse, and without DACA, thank you. Thank you. Right now, I'm studying to be a registered nurse, and without DACA, this would not be possible. This is why it's so important that we need to do everything in our hands to defend this program. I'm also here because my parents, they are the original dreamers. They left everything behind, their parents, their family, for me and my brothers to have a better future. So they are the original dreamers. They left everything behind so I could have a better life, something that they didn't have. So I'm thankful that they brought me here, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be here. As a member of the LGBT community, and Latino, Mexicano, yeah, Latinos Unidos. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Mexico no cerrada, yeah. As a member of the LGBT community, navigating life as undocumented and gay is not been easy. But as a family, it made us stronger. To President-elect Donald Trump, to General John Kelly, the next Secretary of Homeland Security, I say that they should preserve DACA. It works, and I'm a living proof of that. Yeah. We heard rumors that he might take DACA away as soon as tomorrow. What are we gonna do about it? We're gonna stand up and fight, exactly. We're gonna stand up and fight. We will fight, whether it's in the streets or court, or whatever we have to do to protect our rights. We will make sure that every member of the community get the respect and dignity that they deserve as undocumented Americans. We will fight against any politician and system that will mess with us. To any politician that wants to end DACA, I say that the economic security and safety of myself and millions of DACA families depend on keeping DACA the way it is. And I want to thank everyone for listening to me and being here ready to fight with me. We all need to be together and fight like never. I just got one thing. I'm gonna say this chant, and I want you to repeat with me. Up, up with education, down, down with deportation. Up with deportation, down with deportation. Up with education, down with deportation. Up with education, down with deportation. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sally Field. Throughout our history, the labor movement has played a critical role in advancing the lives of American people. And tonight, that gives me hope. After all, it was everyday people who came together to fight injustices on the job site to win the right to have a union and to propel the growth of the middle class and expand prosperity. In big cities and small towns across the country, the labor movement is the reason that we have an 8-hour workday. It's the reason why we have workers' protections. It's why workers got health benefits and why injured workers get aid. I am a proud union member and have been for 52 years. And today I am proud to see that union members are fighting to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour for all workers. But today, the right to organize, which is at the heart of the labor movement's ability to help the lives of so many Americans, is under threat. But if we all stick together like we are right now, if we fight for justice and dignity, I do believe we will find paths to victory over the next 4 years. Please, dear God. And right now, I am very pleased to introduce to you an incredible union leader. He's an executive vice president of the 1.3 million member United Food and Commercial Workers International Union. He is vice president of the National AFL-CIO and currently serves as a vice president of New York State AFL-CIO. Stuart Applebaum.
Friends, sisters, and brothers, the president may change tomorrow, but our values will not. All working women and men, all people deserve to be treated with dignity, justice, and respect, regardless of who is president. And we will fight any attempts to deny them. Too many immigrant workers, women, white workers, people of color feel trapped in an economy that fails them and only seems to reward those at the very top. We must bring working people together across their differences. We must help them understand their common interests. And we must stand ready to fight and organize as a unified 21st century labor movement, progressive movement, because working people desperately need strong unions. You cannot say that you want to help working people and then turn around and attack unions. And we are here today to say that we won't stand idly by and let the Trump administration go after workers and their unions. Together, we must transform our country from within and bring all communities, including the labor movement, into a larger progressive movement. A movement that lifts up all working people. A larger progressive movement that takes the energy and learns the lessons from the Occupy movement and Black Lives Matter and the Bernie Sanders campaign and the Fight for 15. A larger progressive movement that is inclusive and diverse. Together, we must build alliances and coalitions that can stand together for our values. Alliances that can stand up against all forms of bigotry and economic exploitation in all areas of society where our lives and the lives of other vulnerable communities are threatened. Sisters and brothers, we must do this together because justice is indivisible. You cannot be for justice for some and not for justice for all. Together, brothers and sisters, we will never stop fighting for what we know is right. Thank you.
New York! The greatest city in the world! That's you! Man, I need you. I need it tonight. Did you need this? Man, I needed to be with my brothers and sisters here that to know that there's hope in the world and that we have one another, right? We have each other. You heard of Standing Rock, right? Right, we came together there to protect something precious. From all over the United States, all walks of life. American Native people, black people, white people, people of color from all over, gay, lesbian people, people from everywhere, because we came together to protect something precious. Now we're coming here together tonight in this amazing city of New York to protect something precious to us, and that's each other. We're not protesters. We're people protectors. Martin Luther King, brother Martin Luther King, I love you. I know you're here with us tonight. Thank you for your wisdom and your leadership and showing us the peaceful way to move through the oppression that we're facing today. We think we have it bad today. It's nothing. They had it so much worse than we did, and they maintained through love and dignity and determination, and that's us today. Now he knew nothing could happen without love. He knew that the only thing that could drive back the darkness was the light. And we have a wonderful opportunity today to make it clear who we are as Americans and who the Democratic Party is. and what we were always meant to be as a Democratic Party. Somehow we lost our way somewhere along the way. Dr. Martin Luther King knew that without love, not a damn thing worth a damn could happen. And that's why we're destined to win this battle. Whether it's love for our Muslim brothers and sisters, the LGBTQ community, our workers, we gotta love our workers. They're struggling out there. Trump beat us on our own message. We love our workers in America. We stand up for them. We are the middle class. And we're gonna bring all of these different groups together under one banner, and that's a banner of love and decency in America. So today, we move forward, not in protesting Trump, but in protecting our people, protecting our values, and recreating the Democratic Party as a party that's responsive to the people. To the needs of the people and not to the whims of Wall Street. Neoliberalism is dead. Progressivism is alive and well, and we're it. We're the people protectors. And this is heart work. That's the only way, folks. We need to protect our hearts. We need to lead from our hearts. We need to strengthen our hearts. Today marks the first day of the first 100 days of the resistance. Peaceful, loving resistance. Peaceful, loving resistance. Peaceful, loving resistance. We abhor violence. We reject it. If you want that, then get out. We are peaceful, and we'll only win through peace. Now, I'm a climate change activist. And so it's my great honor tonight to bring up a wonderful leader who's already been doing all of the action, already resisting. She is the ED of the amazing Greenpeace. And her name is Annie Leonard. I want you to give her a nice, heartfelt round of applause. Annie Leonard.
So much. It is awesome to be here. I woke up this morning in Washington, D.C. and walked to the train station there, and they'd cleared out the streets, and there was a silence and a sadness descending on that town. And so when I got out at the train station in New York and I saw a joyful resistance filling the streets, it felt so good to be back in New York. Yes. You know, New Yorkers know how to resist. And New Yorkers understand climate change, and you are living through it, and you are standing up together for solutions, and you are not alone. All around the world, cities and businesses and people are standing up for climate change because we know that it is real and it is the greatest threat humanity has ever faced. Yes, and we know that what climate change needs is leaders who are bold and courageous and smart and can understand bar graphs. And instead, we got Donald Trump. Donald Trump thinks that climate change is a hoax. And Donald Trump's nominee for the Environmental Protection Agency, Scott Pruitt, he's skeptical about climate change. He's a hoax. And Donald Trump's nominee for the Secretary of State is Rex Tillerson, the CEO of Exxon. Rex Tillerson admits that climate change is real, but he says he doesn't know what's causing it. Dude, it's not that hard. Exxon is causing it. It's not that hard. And so if climate denialism is going to be the default position of the new Trump administration, then resistance resistance is going to be the default position of the people in this country. Because an election does not change the science. And an election does not change the momentum and the progress towards climate solutions that's happening all around this world. And Trump cannot put the brakes on that. So I want you to join me in sending a message to Mr. Trump that we will resist. Mr. Trump, if you try to open the Arctic for oil drilling, we will resist. When you try to approve pipelines through indigenous lands, we will resist. When you give the frackers a pass, we will resist. When you give the keys to our government to the biggest polluters in this land, we will resist. Now, there are lots of kinds of resistance. There is angry resistance and joyful resistance. There's loud resistance and silent resistance. There's legal resistance and illegal resistance. And I promise you, Mr. Trump, you will see them all. But the one thing in common, you will see relentless resistance. We will resist with everything we have, because what is at stake is everything we love. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Cynthia Nixon. I wish you could see what I see. I wish you could see how far this crowd goes back. And it is cold out here tonight, but I am so warmed by your passion. Thank you for being here. There was a night 5 years ago when I was with my wife and our 3 kids and our best friends, and we were waiting for the subway, and all of a sudden there started to be people talking and shouting, and people who didn't know each other were saying, hey, same-sex marriage, it just passed, it passed. And it was something that we had been fighting for a long time, and we knew it was about to come, but that moment was so sweet. And then the train came, and we got on the train, and all those people in the car didn't know. And we told them, and people were, you know how that happens in New York sometimes, how everybody's on the same page, and everybody's excited, and you know what everybody else is thinking. And that victory in New York, it wasn't just a victory for lesbian and gay couples, it was a victory for all people who are committed to a fairer and more equal world. Now, there are those today who are working to divide us, but they know they can only win when we are focused on fighting each other. And that's why we're here tonight. We're here to stand up and say loudly and clearly, we are not going back. You are not turning us around. We are here, we are queer, and we have no fear. And to those of you in the crowd who are not queer, who are Muslim, who are African American, who are Latino, who are women, who are straight white males, we want to say to you, the LGBT community has got your back. And we know that you have got ours, and we love you for it. Because none of us are willing to go back to a time when we decided a person's worth based on their gender, on their skin color, on their religion, on their country of origin, on their sexual identity. We will not go back to a time when our nation did not recognize the marriage of brave Americans, Edie Windsor and Taya Spire. We will not go back to a time when hate and discrimination were a constant and sanctioned presence in the lives of millions of Americans. We stand here tonight just a few short miles from the Stonewall Inn. And the memory of what happened there in 1968, the struggle for liberation it sparked, is a reminder of where we've been and where we will never return to, no matter who is president. That night after marriage passed in New York, and I called my mom to talk to her about it and to tell her where we were when we heard the news, she listened to me. My mother was born in 1930, and she said, that's what it was like in 1945 when victory was declared. That's what it felt like. Something you've been working for so long and you feared would never happen. And then all of a sudden, one day it's there. And the way I felt that night is the way I feel when I look at this crowd tonight, and the way I'm gonna feel on Saturday at that march. I feel hopeful for the future. Yes, we've had a setback. It's a big setback. It's a setback like we've not seen in a long time. But we can see it as a setback, or we can see it as a challenge. And where there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. An opportunity to prove love, equality, and unity cannot beat. Love, equality, and unity can beat hatred and discrimination. Hillary Clinton didn't get everything right, but she said, we are stronger together, and boy, was she right about that. I know we can win if we say together, we are not going back. Say it with me. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. And now, it is my privilege to introduce a true fighter for our working families, the President and CEO of the NAACP, Cornell William Brooks.
Good evening. It is great to be in the greatest city in the world at the beginning of one of the greatest movements in the world, here in New York City. I'm here as a guest of Martin Luther King's Union 1199 and George Gresham. If you're here supporting labor, I want you to put your hands together loud, long, and resoundingly for God's people who work day in and day out. Not too far from here is a monument to a man, a brand, emblazoned with a single word, Trump. And I'm reminded that we are here, standing metaphorically, figuratively, literally, on a faded piece of parchment that begins with 3 words. We the people. And we're here, representing the beauty and the diversity of our nation, gay and straight, working men and women, environmentalists, activists, civil rights folks. We are here representing the diversity of our nation, and we are resolved. We're not going back. We understand that the election of a president does not represent the de-election of the citizenry. We the people are standing strong. We the people are standing with courage. We the people are standing with determination. We the people are standing together, standing united, standing to resist. We've lived through a campaign in which we have heard a presidential candidate brag about grabbing a woman's genitalia. And we have men and women who are afraid that what was described as locker room talk will become administrative policy. But we are yet saying that we will stand with the majority of Americans, that is women. We will stand against misogyny. We will stand against hate. We will stand against bigotry. We will stand against bias. We will stand up and be strong together. We have seen in the course of this campaign racism routinized, anti-Semitism normalized, xenophobia de-exceptionalized, and misogyny mainstream. But we yet say our love is stronger than hate. Our commitment to this country is greater than anything that can divide us. We will resist day in and day out until victory is won. We've seen in the course of this campaign the right to vote suppressed day in and day out. But may I remind you that the ballot box is not colored red, white, and blue, but literally colored with the blood, sweat, and tears of our people. And we understand that in the constellation of our civil rights, in the firmament of our freedoms, the right to vote shines like the North Star, and we will not allow that light to dim. We will not allow that light to darken. We will not allow that light to go out. We will stand and fight for the right to vote. We, the people, reserve the right to say to a Secretary of Labor, to say to management, to say to this administration, if you try to drag down wages, if you imperil the lives of working men and women, we reserve the right to say to you, you are fired. And if by chance you're tempted amidst the cacophony of disunity and dissension in this nation, if by chance you're tempted to be depressed by the silence of cynicism, may I remind you of a little hymn sung by millions of members of the NAACP with the words being these: lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on, let us march on, let us march on, let us march on till victory is won.
How you doing, New York? Yes, it's Rosie Perez, a.k.a. RP, a.k.a. Brooklyn's own. All right. I just want to say it's cold as hell out here, and I want to thank you for staying. And I want to thank everybody way down Central Park West, and everybody way down Broadway, and way down 7th. There are thousands and thousands of people tonight, and we appreciate it. All right. I want to acknowledge some of our elected officials that showed up tonight. Public advocate who used to be my councilwoman in Brooklyn, Miss Letitia James, I call her Tish. The first Puerto Rican council speaker, Melissa Mark Viverito. Congress members, Jerry Nadler, love that guy, Adriana Espaillat, Senator Brad Holyman, Assembly members Gottfried and De La Rosa, and council members Espinal and Rodriguez. We want to thank you because you showed up for us tonight. And please stick around because, oh my God, wait till y'all see who's gonna close the night. She's gonna be on fire. All right, and you know everybody, thanks for hitting us on social media. We are trending in the world. introduce this woman, I have to put, you know, I'm old now. Okay. I love y'all too, New York. All right. Maya Wiley is a nationally renowned expert on racial justice. She has litigated, lobbied the U.S. Congress, and developed programs to transform structural racism in the United States and in South Africa. Ms. Wiley is currently the Senior Vice President for Social Justice at the New School, as well as the chair of the New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board. Ooh, she's dope. All right. The Independent Oversight Agency for the city's police department. Please join me in welcome her as she speaks out about civil rights and criminal justice, Miss Maya Wiley.
All right, you fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Fired up? Mayor de Blasio asked us a question tonight. He asked, what do we stand for? And everyone's rights. So we stand for what? Everyone's rights. When we started this process the day after the election, there were too many girls in this country who woke up and said, America is not a safe space. There were too many black people who woke up in this country and said, America is not a just place. There were too many immigrants who woke up and said, America is not being acknowledged as my place. There were too many people who woke up and said, my love is not being acknowledged as love. But one of the things that we know is that we stand for the fact that this is one country and it is our country, all of ours, no matter who we are, where we live, who we love, and what we look like. But now we have to acknowledge something, right? And I'm going to quote one of my favorite authors, James Baldwin. Now, James Baldwin said something that is particularly true today. He said that ignorance, allied with power, is a ferocious enemy of justice. So we stand here tonight because the truth is we are looking at a ferocious enemy to the safety of people in their communities if they demand that we turn back on our reform of stop and frisk. No, we won't. And we will do that because when Mayor de Blasio asked what we stand for and Mark Ruffalo said, who do we stand with? We also stand with each other. And when we stand with each other, we stand with people in Ferguson and Detroit, as well as Brooklyn and Staten Island. We stand with people whether they are just folks trying to get a job and get to work and get that job even if they have been arrested, and to be safe when they walk the streets of their neighborhood. And we stand with police officers as well. We will not let policies get in the way of our relationship with our police officers because we have to have safety. All of us have to be safe. Our police officers are us, and we stand with our police officers. But if you tell us the progress we have made in ensuring that we have safe and fair policing, because ignorance thinks that when you walk down the street of a black community, you get shot, because you don't know what happens in black community, then we are going to stand with you and say, if in order to keep us safe, we must have the reforms we fought for. And what we must also have is the ability of people to get jobs and not spend 30 years in the jails that we have constructed, because we tell people to throw the book at every little charge, whether they did something serious or not. These are the fights that we have right now. We stand for justice. We stand for each other. We stand for justice. We stand for each other. We stand for justice. We stand for each other. We will not go back. We will be safe. Our communities will be safe. And we will do that because we stand together. Thank you.
Okay, check it. I was just told that there's between 20,000 and 25,000 New Yorkers here tonight. That is incredible! This is so exciting. I feel so honored to be here. You know, we've been talking about this movement starting tomorrow. This movement already started. This movement started a long time ago, and it's just gaining steam. Let's look at Standing Rock. How amazing was that movement? Is that movement? I want to talk about Standing Rock for just a quick second, because what they were able to accomplish is what we need to learn from, and what we need to apply to what's happening here tonight, what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in DC, and what's going to happen in the next 4 years. The narrative surrounding us against them does not ever work. Violence does not work. Aggression does not work. Anger can be transmuted into fuel so that we can show up with passion. But that passion has to be grounded and rooted in compassion and love and prayer. Love is not a word to be forgotten in this movement. Love is not a word to be undermined. And the people of Standing Rock showed us that you can show up on a front line with your hands behind your back and your heart forward, with prayer and with love and with compassion, and you can win. They did it in North Dakota when no one was watching. They did it in North Dakota in 2 degrees, in negative 20 degrees. We can do that in New York City. We can do that across every state in America. So I feel very grateful for all of you who are showing up here tonight, because we can come up here and we can say these words, but the work is in the streets. The work is all of us, all of you, talking to one another, meeting 5, 10, 15 new people tonight. Network this crowd. Get to know one another. Build small organizations around your neighborhoods, your cities. Take what Michael Moore said every single day, part of our daily routine. Brush your teeth, wash your mouth, whatever, rinse your mouth, oil pull, whatever you do. And call your senator, call your congressman. We are beyond the times of signing petitions. We are beyond the times of retweeting and re-Instagramming. We are in the time of showing up, and showing up with love. When we talk about winning, what are we trying to win? Are we trying to win as Democrats? Are we trying to win as Republicans? Are we trying to win as progressives? We're trying to win as human beings. And every human being needs love to survive. So let's be the bigger people who open our arms. And we don't have to agree. We don't have to understand. But we have to start communicating. And we have to start communicating with compassion and with love. Thank you so much for being here. Let's do this. We got this.
To be here. Thank you. I want to introduce myself. I'm an elitist libtard. I'm an elitist libtard whose grandmother picked cotton, whose mother sang on bars when she was 8 years old during the Depression, and I myself at some point wore, I want to tell you who I am so I can tell you what I believe. You know, I have been accused by these people of being so many things, but I understand how the people were so desperate to pick this man. You know, this unbelievable narcissist who could change the face of our world if we let him. And the only thing that will save us is you. You know, the only thing that can save us is you. I mean, I'm not a rever. People have already been up that are revving you up, right? I just want to tell you, I have lived through, I'm 70 years old, I've lived through 12 presidents. And never once did I dream that there would be one through arrogance and ignorance who could change our world, who could change the face of our world. And so I know that, you know, when I was young, Vietnam was happening, and nothing happened to stop it until we got into the streets. And I know you can stop this. I know you can stop this because the power of the people is bigger than those assholes that are there in Washington. I tried not to have a potty mouth, but it's just me, okay? So you must never give up, because the thing that will help us, that will get us through this, is anger, because otherwise we'll be in sadness and depression. I was there the night with her when we lost, and I gave up and I came upstairs and I took a shower and I took my makeup off, and then someone said, there are thousands of people marching down the street. So I went down with none of my fabulous shareness, and I got caught up, and it took me out of my depression. It took me out of my sadness, and I thought, look, these people have come now. It's happening now. We can change this now. So you can change this. I promise you, you can change this. And now it's my great honor and my great privilege to introduce to you someone that I respect, and that I just feel he is the one that is making us have the strength to come out here and do this. Mr. Michael Moore.
That was great. That was great. Thank you.
Also, I couldn't have read this speech because I'm dyslexic.
Let's hear it for Cher. And the people of Flint, Michigan thank Cher and the people who've shown up there to help them with the fight against the governor for poisoning their water. So thank you, Cher, for that. Well, we've come to the end. We have a special musical guest for you here tonight. Man, this has been great. This has been great. Look at this crowd. I can't even see the end of this thing. Thank you, everyone who has come tonight. Mark Ruffalo and Fisher Stevens and myself, we put this together like a week ago and had so much support from the mayor's office, all these activist groups. The NYPD has been very helpful tonight. Thank you, NYPD. And you for showing up on this final night. This final night of what anthropologists will call the pre-Trumpian age. It will be a short-lived age. But it will be significant, and they will be studied for centuries. This is our country. We love the people of this country. I love that pledge they did earlier, that we take our own oath of office as citizens of this country. Everybody, what are we going to do every day for just 2 to 3 minutes? Call Congress, right? 202 225 3121. Do it. Yes, and brush your teeth. Yes, very important. And if you have a dog, walk the dog. If you have a cat, stare back at it. We're just tuning up here before our big musical finish, and we're going to bring everybody up here for one final song. But we are standing here, in case you don't know this, in front of the Trump International Hotel. And they can hear you in there. But there's another special Trump building. It's called Trump Tower. The Golden Tower of Trump. I remember when my mother used to visit here, my departed mother, she used to love coming here to New York City. Her sister lived on Staten Island. She left Flint back in the 1920s, married a Democrat on Staten Island. And so we used to come from Flint every summer to New York. We'd summer on Staten Island is what I'd tell people. They didn't know what it meant back in Flint. It just sounded like some exotic island. But my uncle went on. He was part of the Franklin Roosevelt Democratic Party and went on to be elected to state assemblyman from Staten Island as a Democrat. And we used to love coming here every year, love this city, love the people, feeling privileged to be able to spend as many months of the year as I get to spend here. I live in Michigan, but I love this place, and I love the people here. And New York is going to be acting with a vengeance on its native son. So listen, for those of you who want to, we've cleared this with the police, who want to peacefully walk over to Trump Tower when we're done. Anybody up for that? So we ask that after the music, after it's over, that you either, I think they want you to depart right here on 62nd or any of the other streets way back there. You can go over to Broadway and then come down and go around Columbus Circle and go on 59th Street to 5th Avenue and then 5th Avenue for a couple blocks to Trump Tower. Peaceful, nonviolent, safe, big sidewalks. It's still a free city. It's still a free country. Barack Obama is still the President of the United States. So last time I checked, we're still in the Obama era. And we can peacefully walk over to Trump Tower. What do you think? Let's do it. But first, let's bring on one of the most incredible singers and musicians in this country. I have loved this woman since I first saw her as the lead singer of 10,000 Maniacs. She has been there so many times for so many good causes, so many good things. She has such a great heart and a great soul. And she's here tonight to close us off this beautiful demonstration that's going to ignite inaugural weekend all across America. I'll be there on Saturday in D.C. 300 marches across the country. If you're watching on live stream right now, show up on Saturday, and please, let's give a wonderful
You keep your heart off your sleeve. Oh, motherland, cradle me, close my eyes, lullaby me to sleep. Keep me safe, lie with me, stay beside me, don't go. Don't you go. Oh, my 5 and dime queen, tell me, what have you seen? The lust and the avarice, bottomless Calvinist greed. Is that what you see? Oh, motherland, cradle me, close my eyes, lullaby me to sleep. Keep me safe, lie with me, stay beside me, don't go. It's your happiness